Right, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about this space, explain sort of the plan that we've got for it moving forward, and I'll be explaining as well why we're going to be doing what we're doing to this lawn and why it's in the state that it currently is. Now, I think this lawn's an example as to what can go wrong if you do things at the wrong time. So this space used to be a full-fledged lawn, and when some of the other work was done in the garden by a landscaper, they took off all of the turf and decided to reseed it. Now, this happened sort of early March, and you can see now that we're sort of, back end of April, early May at time of recording, we don't really have much of a lawn left, and that's because the seed going down in early March is just far too soon. It's far too early to get it down, and considering now it's been the best part of 2 months, not a lot of germination has taken place. I'm just inserting this clip because I did just say in the last shot that seeding in early March isn't always the best idea. It is the best idea if the conditions are favourable, but we've had so much rain throughout March and April this year. We had so much cold weather, which has hindered the growth of the actual plant. So it's more the conditions as opposed to the month. You can see that on this far end here, we've got loads of germination, a lot of the new stuff that has started to come through. You've got some patches over here where it's very, very thin. You can see if I just have a look now, there's probably one plant there within quite a big space, so it's not as well distributed. And this stuff here you can see is obviously the remnants of the old lawn that is poking its head through. There's the odd weed knocking about as well, and obviously down towards the front you can see that the grass is almost non-existent. We have some young plants here, but you can just see that they're absolutely struggling, and there's bits of everything. There's stones, there's bits of plastic all over the place. So really not the ideal conditions for a lawn to be thriving. But it's not just the actual grass plants. If I get down low, I'm not sure how well you are going to be able to see this on camera, but there's big massive mounds as well, where obviously the old lawn is being dug out, but the lawn hasn't been levelled at all. One thing that I could do with this space is just to rake up the soil that we can currently see, get it nice and loose, and chuck a load of seed down and just let it incorporate itself into the space that's already here. However, with this lawn being the lawn of the neighbours, I don't fancy doing a bodge job on it. If I'm going to do something, especially for them, I want to make sure that I do it properly. So what we are going to do with this space is we're going to take it back to square one. We're going to start it from scratch, even though we have got some decent germination up at the top, and give it a little bit of time and fertiliser and things. It will start to come into its own, but I wouldn't be proud to put my name onto this lawn, especially with the state that it's in now. So the plan moving forward then, what we are going to do is we're going to start off by killing this space using Roundup Weed Killer, and that's going to take around about 2 to 3 weeks to kick in, to kill everything that's already there. Some people might see it as a bit of a waste because, like you can see, there is grass in the spaces at the moment. I could simply just overseed it, but the main reason why I want to kill it off is the fact that the lawn is so uneven. It's moving down on a slope, so drainage is never going to be a problem. What is going to be a big issue is when you're coming out with the lawnmower, is actually getting a nice cut across the entire space. You've got some spaces, like I showed you over here before, where there's about 2.5–3 inches of drop between the high point and the low point, and the same sort of thing over here. There's like big holes and dints in the lawn, which isn't going to result in having a decent lawn whatsoever. So if I kill the space off, what I can then do is I can level it out and get some nice topsoil over the top as well. Any way we can actually improve the lawn itself, or the soil profile should we say, then that's obviously going to be a positive, but I'm not fully decided on that part yet. But what I have decided on, like I've said, is we're killing it off, we're starting from scratch, and we're going to get it levelled really well. So first port of call, let's go and get the sprayer out the garage. Let's get the Roundup, let's apply the product. So before applying any product to your lawn, the first thing you should be doing is actually measuring your space, just to figure out what sort of area you're working with. Right, so we're working with roughly 45–50 square meters, give or take. It's obviously not a perfect rectangle. It's quite a unique shape, so you can't get it absolutely perfect, but let's go with that. Let's go with 45, 50 as our benchmark when we actually measure out the amount of Roundup that we need. So it says on the bottle, if you want to kill an area of about 30 square metres, you need to put around about 40 millilitres of the product into your sprayer with around about a litre of water. Now, I know with this sprayer that a litre of water flies out of it in no time. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put around about 2 litres in this, and I'll also double the amount of Roundup that I put in there too, just because it'd be more diluted going down onto the lawn. But I'd rather make sure I can kill it off in one go rather than having to go on and do multiple sprays. However, it might be a case of in a couple of weeks time I need to put another application down, and if that's the case, so be it. But fingers crossed we can actually kill it off just in one foul swoop. So as ever, let's get a little bit of water in the sprayer first before we put any of the product in, just so it has something to start mixing with when we add the rest of the water. Ideally you put gloves on for this, but I've got no decent gardening gloves at the moment, and all the ones I do have all have holes in, so I'm not sure how much they're going to protect me. A little measurement thing on the side, so let's see how much we can measure out. Here we go. The death cocktail has been made pretty much. All I've got to do now is add the right amount of water to it. There we go. It's not a lot of water, but it should do the job nicely, or not nicely because it's weed killer. There's nothing nice about it. Now it is a little bit windy today, and I ideally wouldn't want to apply anything like this when it is windy because it can get on other plants and kill them off, but you can tell there's only a few plants up at the top. There's some in pots down there as well, so there's no real risk of it getting onto anything. It just means it's going to get onto other surfaces, but it'll be fine. Like I always say, no one's going to die. And on that last point, no one is going to die, but obviously the lawn will, hopefully. So there we go, the weed killer is now being applied. It's just a case of waiting. So it takes around about 2 or 3 weeks to degrade fully into the soil, and then the entire space will be dead, and it'll just be a case of taking out all of the dead grass. Now, a big advantage of doing this at this sort of time of year is, like I said, at the time of recording, it's late April, early May. That means we're going to be seeding this lawn towards sort of the end of May time, which isn't too bad. It is obviously going to be getting quite warm, but what we will do is whenever we get the seed down, we'll get some fleece over the top to make it almost like a little bit of a greenhouse effect. It'll retain more of that moisture, and yeah, fingers crossed we can have a decent lawn in this space as we get into the summer. I do just want to say as well, before I sign off, make sure if you are going to do something like this, you don't cut the grass beforehand, because the way the weed killer works is the plant absorbs it and almost kills it from the inside out. I made that mistake last year where I actually scalped the lawn down, then I applied the product, and that meant that when some of the grass started to come back through, I had to go on with a second application just to fully kill it off. So thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to follow along with the rest of this renovation, or if you'd like to check out any of my other lawn sit videos or garden renovation videos, then head over to my channel, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And finally, thanks for watching.